O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I rise tonight on what is a significantly important matter. But as I lead into my speech, I want to briefly reflect on what I think one of the most powerful honours is attached to being a senator in this federal parliament, and that is to give voice to someone who does not have the capacity to give voice to the issue for themselves. And today this evening I stand to speak on behalf of Mrs Norma Hamawai, a grandmother. I stand here, Mr Deputy President, as a grandfather speaking on behalf of a particular grandmother, but indeed in spirit on behalf of many grandmothers and grandfathers and mothers and fathers who around the country tonight are in the most anxious phase of their lives as their children and their loved ones, their sons, their daughters, their brothers, their sisters, and indeed themselves in some instances, are suffering from a very severe and debilitating condition called atypical hemolytic uremic syndrome. This disease seems to particularly strike young women in their teens and early maturity of womanhood, and it is a violent disease. It is a disease that attacks their organs, in particular their kidneys, their livers, and eventually the brain, where without treatment they can have and suffer from complete organ failure in periods as short as 3 or 4 months. Mr Deputy President, there is a solution to their plight, and the solution to their plight is a drug called Solaris, and that drug is manufactured by Alexion Pharmaceuticals in the United States. Solaris has been here in Australia for a long period of time and available through the PBS scheme for a particular condition, but not the condition that I have mentioned. Solaris is available today for patients in this country who suffer from another rare and disabling disorder called paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. But the drug is not available to Australians who are suffering from AHUS. And returning to where I started, Mr Deputy President, Mrs Hamawai is the grandmother of a beautiful young woman named Bianca Scott. Bianca is an 18-year-old student or immediate past student who graduated from her high school in 2013 with all of the wonderful promise that comes with that phase of our lives as we finish our term of education and go out into the world to explore and to grow. Only that wasn't Bianca's experience. Within a very short period of time, Bianca found herself on full-time treatment for an attack of this condition on her kidneys. Because the drug is not available through the PBS at this time, her family set about to try and do what every parent and grandparent would do, and that is to supply their child with a chance at life. A chance at life in the same way that all of us in this chamber tonight and our colleagues in this entire parliament enjoy as I speak. This family has invested $234,000 of their money in purchasing the drug for young Bianca up until today. Mr. President, they have nothing left. This family has nowhere to go. They have no chattels left to sell. They have no friends or support in the community any longer after they have enjoyed massive support from friends and family in being able to supply the drug to young Bianca for these past months. The tragedy is that Bianca's family went to the pharmaceutical company, Alexion Pharmaceuticals, with $15,000, their last $15,000 of the $24,000 required to buy these vials of life that last for 2 weeks. $12,000 every week is the cost to this family to keep this little girl alive and to keep and protect her from long-term and debilitating organ failure. After paying the company $234,000 just in this calendar year, they expected that the company may, on a humanitarian basis, have provided their little girl with the drug this once, even though they can't pay the full amount. Now, Mr. President, I don't intend to spend a lot more time on Alexion Pharmaceuticals tonight because I have put a proposition to them, and I'm hoping that somewhere tonight, somewhere in the world, it is under active consideration, because they have an application before our health department, our federal health department. That application is making its way through the system, through the due diligence, as it should. To their credit, this company has a current humanitarian trial in this country where they are supplying this drug free of charge to 11 sufferers of AHUS. But, Mr. President, the tragedy is there are another 11 souls, as best I can research, who currently are in need of this drug. And I'm calling upon this company to consider extending their humanitarian trial until such time as our health department has completed the due diligence required to make a decision with respect to the acceptance of this drug. I understand that that's at an advanced time. I also understand there will be further negotiations in the coming weeks. I understand that progress has been made. But if we're unable to get a positive solution with respect to this drug within the next couple of months, people like Bianca Scott will not be with us, or at least they will by then have suffered such extensive damage to their organs that it will not be able to be reversed. Now, I understand that Alexion is not a charity. I understand that it can't go all around the world putting their drug, in which they've had considerable investment, out there for nothing. But I've put a proposition to them that they do so for free as an investment in being a good corporate citizen in our country until such time as our health department has had the chance to properly and carefully navigate the path that's required to have this drug approved. And, Mr. President, I say this. I intend to rise to my feet at every opportunity I can over the coming days and the coming weeks and the coming months to progressively continue my call to Alexion. I will try and garner support from any quarter that I can, by any method that I can, until such time as they provide us with the relief that's required for these people whilst our government looks seriously at approving their drug on terms and conditions that are very financially favourable to them.